Hello and welcome to the Choralosophy podcast. This is episode 175. Gratitude makes us better. This is a Thanksgiving special and a little bit of a philosophy episode. I'm also doing something a little different today in an effort to get the word out about the new Choralosophy Substack or free Choralosophy newsletter, which you can find as a link in the show notes here. But I'm also going to be posting almost the entire transcript of this episode in the Substack. So for those of you who like to read philosophy statements and or discussions, you'll be able to see this there. Over at Patreon, we have a big library full of resources that you can have access to. I call it my Google folder full of goodies. There's also, of course, the private podcast feed, but I discover every time I poll the Patreon supporters, most of the people who chip in $3, $5, $8, $10, whatever it is a month that they choose to chip in over there, they don't really do it for those resources. They do it because they want to support this show and make sure it continues. So if you want to be there for any reason, then head over to patreon.com/Choralosophy and sign up today. Are you tired of managing multiple platforms to sell tickets, fundraise, and market your performances? Look no further than Ludus.com, an all-in-one solution that's easy to use and free to your organization. With Ludus, you'll have access to a suite of tools and resources specifically designed for the performing arts. From ticket sales to merchandise and fundraising, Ludus has got you covered. So why not give it a try? Save time, money, and resources. Choralosophy listeners can go to ludus.com/Choralosophy for an upgrade for free to their marketing suite. The show is produced on Patreon by Venture Studios, Ryan Main, Michael Herron, Kyle Peterson, Stephen Kathy Kakachik, David Kowalczyk, Max Jackson, Ulrika Igrain Munoz Alarcon, John Warner, Angie Schilling, Nathan Hines, Jared Hendricks, Brian Long, and Jonah Clixbull. Okay, so let's dive into these Thanksgiving-related topics today. It's easy to think of gratitude as looking back, but that's only half of its power. In a world characterized by constant social criticism and a perpetual desire for progress, the often overlooked emotion of gratitude emerges as a powerful catalyst for personal and societal improvement. While constructive criticism and a drive for change are essential elements in fostering growth, without a foundation of gratitude for what we do have, individuals and societies might find themselves trapped in a cycle of discontent. I often see gratitude conflated with complacency, or resting back on our laurels, or not even caring about the progress that everyone says that they want to achieve. But I believe that this is a fundamental error in our perception of human nature. It misses the human need to reflect on the past W's, as the kids say, or the past successes, as a motivation for future efforts of improvement. At its core, gratitude is the recognition and appreciation of the positive aspects of our lives. When individuals focus on what they are thankful for, they cultivate a mindset that transcends mere contentment. It becomes a wellspring of motivation for personal improvement. By acknowledging the blessings and privileges they possess, individuals gain a sense of purpose and inspiration to contribute positively to their own lives. But we have a culture that teaches us to deny our privileges, almost as if they are badges or markers of shame. My belief about privilege is that privileges are only shameful if we don't put them to good use, or if we acquired them dishonestly. Because ultimately, privilege has context. Something that is a privilege for me in one place and time may be a barrier for me in others. The low level of melanin in my skin would be an example of that. There are some places where maybe if I'm being pulled over by a cop with racial bias, my white skin is a privilege. But if I jump into the I'm a choir director Facebook page to make a comment about society or culture, my white skin is an immediate disadvantage. I am advocating for a healthy relationship instead with our privileges. It's okay to be happy and content while there is suffering elsewhere. Let me say that again. Maybe this needs to be you can put this on repeat as a meditation. It's okay for you to be happy and content even though you know that there is suffering in the world. Feeling this tension does not make you callous or uncaring for others. It's actually crucial for our mental health. In the context of personal growth, gratitude acts as a motivational force that propels individuals towards self-improvement. Whether it be in their professional endeavors, relationships, or personal development, individuals who express gratitude are more likely to approach challenges with resilience and a positive mindset. The acknowledgement of the good in one's life becomes a driving force for overcoming obstacles and achieving personal goals. We've got to know what we're fighting for. We've got to remind ourselves why it's worth the effort. Gratitude helps us do that. But this is not just personal advice. We can take this to the societal level as well. Beyond the individual level, the influence of gratitude extends to the societal sphere. In a world characterized by societal discontent and a constant pursuit of progress, gratitude serves as a counterbalance to the pervasive culture of complaint. While critical theories of fill in the blank, and there are many critical theories of race, there's critical theories of gender, there are critical legal studies, these have their place in highlighting areas for improvement. A lack of gratitude can result in a society that is unable to appreciate the progress it has made. Now, I've done episodes on this before. I've even made the argument that we should probably have a critical choral studies field start to emerge, because there are people in our profession who that's what they want to talk about. And that's fine. That's fine, but we need to have a place for those discussions to occur. If that's the only discussion that occurs, then we have a major imbalance problem on our hands. I believe some of us have already reached this point of imbalance. The point where the imbalance between criticism and gratitude is so heavy that expressing gratitude or even acknowledging progress is seen as wrongthink or a sin of some kind. Now, a grateful society is one that values collaboration over conflict and seeks solutions rather than dwelling on problems. Gratitude fosters a collective mindset that encourages citizens to work together for the betterment of their communities. When individuals are grateful for the resources, opportunities, and freedoms they enjoy, they are more likely to contribute positively to society, be it through volunteerism, philanthropy, civic engagement. Why? Because people like being part of a winning team. It's very, very difficult to convince people to be on your side and to pick up the banner for your cause if you can't point to past success, which is the problem with today's criticism movement. It shies away from discussing past success. Try having a conversation with a modern anti-racist, for example, about how much less racism there is now than 60 years ago. Well, that's demonstrably true. If you speak to almost any person of color in their 80s, they could probably tell you some stories. And it's okay to talk about that. In fact, I would argue that a true anti-racist would be waving those successes from the rooftops, shouting them, putting them on banners. Look what we've accomplished. Come join us. There's more to do. I believe that a grateful person would take that approach. Furthermore, gratitude acts as a powerful antidote to the divisive forces that often permeate society. In a culture where social media and other platforms amplify grievances, gratitude becomes a unifying force that reminds individuals of their shared humanity. Focusing on my sense of gratitude requires me to recognize how far we have come together. This is what bonds me to my communities and builds allies. So teachers, most of this audience are teachers. So let's think about this same concept within our educational world. I have never had more reasons to complain about structural issues in my school district than in the last 3 years, since COVID. Some of you guys might remember, if you've been listening for a while, how active I was in school COVID policy. I was complaining loudly. I was complaining on the show. I was complaining behind the scenes to my administrators. I was writing emails to the superintendent. I was having conversations with COVID experts and sending them to the administrators. I was making a stink about policy for the very first time in my entire teaching career. In the last 3 years, though, it's not just been COVID policies. The shit is hitting the fan. And each school year seems like a buffet of new educational fads. Lowered standards, the disappearance of student learning data in favor of student well-being data, and so much more. There's a lot for me to complain about, but I love my job. Both of these things can be true. Teaching is a profession laden with challenges, yet it is also one that holds the immense privilege of influencing and inspiring young minds. I am so thankful I get to do it. Gratitude in this context is the acknowledgement and appreciation for the opportunities teachers have to make a meaningful impact on the lives of their students. When educators cultivate a sense of gratitude for what they get to do with their students, It becomes a powerful source of personal fulfillment. And students are inspired by this as well. One of my students' favorite things to talk about why they like my class, every conversation we have about that, and I do intentionally create opportunities in class to talk about why we're grateful for our class. We talk about this regularly. It always comes up that they're grateful that they have a teacher, and they shout me out a lot, and I appreciate them for this, and I love this for them, but they shout me out because it's also obvious that Mr. Muntz loves his job. And that makes this class more fun. We learn more because we're inspired. It matters. When educators cultivate a sense of gratitude for what they get to do with their students, it becomes a powerful source of personal fulfillment for them and for the teacher. Teachers who approach their work with gratitude are more likely to derive satisfaction from the intrinsic rewards of education. The realization that they have the privilege to impart knowledge, instill values, and contribute to the growth of their students, this becomes a driving force that sustains their passion for teaching. I've seen this very driving force called toxic positivity by people who would really like to only complain. This is misguided. Gratitude acts as a constant reminder of the positive aspects of the profession, even in the face of challenges. Recently, I brought the Choralosophy podcast over to TikTok, and that's been a lot of fun. But that's a place where I hear a lot of teacher testimony, and most of it is negative. Same thing on Facebook groups as well. Most of it comes out as negative because, of course, we cheer each other on. There is a teachers complaining industry on social media right now, and it's great that teachers are showing up for those teachers that are struggling with a sense of solidarity. And of course, misery loves company. I like that we're supporting each other in that way. There's nothing wrong with that. But if we don't temper that with an effort to lift up the stories of happy teachers also, we could be doing a lot of harm to the future of education. Young future teachers are seeing this on social media. I hear about it almost every week. I was thinking about being a teacher, Mr. Muntz, but I've seen online how terrible it is of a job, and I'd see other teachers that just clearly hate their jobs. And then I have to do damage control with that student. If you want to be a teacher, you should be a teacher, but be one of the happy ones. That's how we have that conversation. So I hope this was thought-provoking for you. Happy Thanksgiving if you're an American listener. If you're not an American listener, why not be thankful this week also? Join our party over here. We're going to eat a bunch of turkey, and we're going to be thankful for the things in our lives. It's one of our yearly rituals, and anyone can participate. Let me know what you think in the comments. Whether you're reading this on Substack or whether or not you're listening, you can leave comments on the Choralosophers Facebook page. There is now a private chat feature on the Substack. All of that is free. Or you can head to the Choralosophers Facebook page. On the way out, I'm going to jump into the Choralosophers Facebook page. I asked colleagues there what they were thankful for, choir-related thankful things that they are feeling right now. So I'm just going to read a few of those, and I'll leave you to your holiday. Choralosophy listeners will remember RyanMain.com, but he has recently created EndeavorMusicPublishing.com, which is something different, something bigger, and something better. Endeavor is not a marketplace. It's a traditional publisher with a 21st century business model, which means that they have editing. Each piece is chosen and selected with accessibility in mind. Endeavor supports composers with a majority of the sales going right to the composer. Plus, there are tons of voicings to fit the needs of your program, instant downloads, full recordings, practice materials, and more. So head over to EndeavorMusicPublishing.com now and check out the catalog. Don't forget to use the Choralosophy promo code, as in coupon code, when you check out at SightReadingFactory.com, MyMusicFolders.com. You can also get sheet music with that 10% discount when you enter Choralosophy at EndeavorMusicPublishing.com and GraphitePublishing.com. So in the Choralosophers Facebook page, I posted a conversation prompt at the beginning of this week in anticipation of this recording, and I said, hello. What choir-related things are we thankful for right now? So to leave you today, I'm going to give you some refreshing images and refreshing stories from colleagues of yours, assuming you are a choir person listening to this, of people who are thankful for choir. My policy is, of course, I don't shout out people's names unless they give me permission, so I'm just going to do these anonymously. If you want to add yours to this, you can head over to the Choralosophers Facebook page and find this thread. One colleague is thankful that so many people are coming together for the Come and Sing 9 Lessons and Carols at Balliol College in Oxford. Another is thankful that we hosted 200 high school and middle school students at a vocal jazz festival last weekend. Another says, I was out sick with my daughter for a full week last week and came back to my first choir rehearsal yesterday. It baffles me that not everyone gets the experience of singing in a choir. When removed from it for a minute, I really felt the appreciation for how important of a piece of choral singing is in my life. And, adorably, one of my former students came onto the post and said, appreciating the amazing choir I had at a young age that gave me the ability to create amazing music for a lifetime. Another colleague is thankful for a dedicated community of singers who strives for excellence. Caroling season has started. Another person is thankful for the privilege of creating beauty in this soiled world, quoting Walt Whitman. Another colleague is thankful for a great group of conducting students. Another for community, friendship, and joy. They're all happening in abundance in my choirs, and it's the best. Another colleague is thankful for everything, just everything. Wonderful singers, wonderful composers, wonderful colleagues in the field, wonderful audience and supporters. Just everything. Another is thankful for so many great students that have found a place where they belong in their class. I don't have time to read all of these, by the way. I want you to go over and read more. The sweet boy from another program who shared his pants with my student who had forgotten his concert pants, so our group could look their best at the festival. Another is thankful for the child choir member who started dancing during the Agnus Dei at Mass, and that my children's choir reminds us that music brings all cultures together. Another colleague is thankful for his choir program that has fully bought into music literacy, clap, 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 and strive daily to become a better independent music thinkers. Another colleague is thankful to be busy. Many clinics, dress rehearsals, and performances, taxing and stressful at times, but better than the alternative of not doing these things. I love the work. I agree. One director is thankful that their men's section sounds like butter. Another colleague is thankful that they're rebuilding the elementary choir in her school. It's the first choir since before COVID. They have had shared music teachers for several years, and this is the first time it is possible again. Wow. I'll finish with this one. We have a colleague who is thankful for her fabulous accompanist, choir parents that are all in, and admin that let her spend time with focusing on my kids, on her students. So this is just hopefully a short episode because I don't want to take too much of your time this week, but I want you to be thankful. I'm going to encourage the audience here to make some conscious decisions, to smell the roses, to touch grass, and enjoy your vacation if you're on one this week, or if you're in other places in the world that don't celebrate Thanksgiving. Carve aside 5 to 10 minutes this week to think about what you're grateful for, what you get to do, but by no means, don't put down your causes. Try to make the world better. We can do both. Thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed this, of course, share it. I would love to have this be a conversation starter. If you heard any parts of my essay that you really found disagreeable or agreeable, I want to hear about it. You can have a conversation over in the Choralosophers Facebook page. As I mentioned, there is a private chat feature in the Substack where you can be kind of an off-social media conversation with colleagues as well. So there are tons of ways for us to keep the communication going. Of course, the mission of this show is to be a conversation starter. When I post things online, I am intentionally trying to create conversations because I think it's important, I think it matters, and heck, I'm grateful for it. So since others shared their grateful statements on the way out, I am grateful for you, the listeners of this show. I am grateful for the Patreon community, which you can join at patreon.com/choralosophy. They keep the costs of this show under control so that I can keep doing it. It's a big deal. And I am so thankful for them for going over there and allowing $3 or $5 to flow into the coffers of the show every month so that I don't have to pay out of pocket to run all of the expenses of this. It makes a huge difference for me. And as for somebody trying to do media in addition to being a full-time teacher, the Patreon folks are just the MVPs every single month. And then I'm also just thankful for those of you who listen quietly in the background and enjoy this content. It means a lot to me that you are getting a lot out of this. That's why I do it. It's why I enjoy doing it. It feels like I'm making a difference, and I'm so thankful for that. And lastly, I'm thankful for my students at school. They're just incredible. They're so positive and so full of joy. I'm thankful I get to teach my daughter in class. I'm also thankful for my wife, Beth, who's just an incredible partner. and helps me create this amazing home environment that we're able to have for my kids. I didn't always have that during my childhood, and so it's such a thankful and gratitude-filled emotion for me to think about the home that my kids get to be raised in. So I've got tons to be thankful for. I hope that you do too. Happy holidays, and we'll see you next time.